Hello, it's Fran Davidson from psychicandenergywork.com.au, and this is part 2 of my monthly observations for June 2025. Part 2 always looks at the birth numbers for the month at hand. The birth number tells us what life is about to reveal to us, and therefore encourage us to learn about, fathom, get, in a way that then we can step into a place where we channel that, ideally on a spiritual level, although of course sometimes we might do it on egoic ones as well. We always learn through what is not quite right. We always learn through the egoic realm. And the reason why I talk about this, as I've mentioned on the website, psychicandenergywork.com.au, on the monthly observations page, in the second section of those observations is where I talk about this month's birth numbers. Both birth numbers are 6. And when I say both birth numbers, what I mean is that June every year is the 6th month, that's 1. And then if you couple 6 with the year 2025 and its birth number, 9, you get a 15-6. Yeah, so we've got 6 and 15-6 hanging over us all of June in a way that 6 is balance. Yeah. 6, therefore, is about that, I want to use the word fulcrum, the fulcrum that exists between giving and receiving. You could say 6 is Libra. Yeah, justice, balance, good stuff. Yeah, caring, helping, teaching, serving, not in a way that subordinates anybody, including the giver or the helper or the sharer. Yeah, but in a way that looks after everyone, because of course at the end of the day life is give and take. Now we all know that on a theoretical level, don't we? We can often espouse these things, but are we actually doing that and therefore stepping into that ism as a spiritual stance, and therefore as a very beginning point before flow even manifests, before things actually even happen or are activated? Because, of course, on one level, manifesting is all about that point rather than just the flow of receiving. And just excuse me, there's a little person behind me, as you can see, just moving into the view. Therefore, 6 is receive. It is learn to receive. As humans, especially in the adult world, or therefore as adults, we are very good at envisaging, at planning, at organising, at doing. You with me? All of those stances that happen after we have actually, you could say, woken up or got ready to do, give, be, etc., etc. On the energetic level, receive is the place where we don't do anything. What do I mean by that? On one level, we do something. We choose to receive. We choose to observe. We choose to witness flow rather than get into flow's way, life's way. If I continue with the analogy that life is a river, then the job of self isn't to stand in the middle of the river and play goalkeeper or dam it up, marshal things so that they flow one way, but they, shall we say, ignore the need for the flow to happen everywhere else at the same time. Because, of course, balance isn't about greed, is it? It's not about competitiveness that creates winners and losers. Therefore, it's not about oneself mattering more or coming first. That doesn't necessarily mean that it can't be a place of different receiving. At the end of the day, in a moment, we are all receiving whatever we are on a very different level, even if it's sort of the same. So spirituality, and therefore, shall we say, spiritual manifesting, spiritual receiving, it isn't about the need to fret about loss, lack, or what the other might get or gain, what the other might be doing. That's not a state that needs to be blind to the outside world, reality. But at the end of the day, if we're manifesting and therefore even releasing, healing, allowing flow on a spiritual level, we're sort of also being asked to acknowledge the fact that, hello, the divine is real. It is intelligent. It already has everything at its disposal. And therefore, and bear with me, it is the supplier. It is source. So when we really know that, we can come out of needing to fear ourselves, life, outcomes, even the universe, in a way that affirms lack or worries about lack or worries about, does the universe even know that I exist? Does it even know what I need right now or want right now for myself or anybody else? Humans so often, as they move into manifesting and spiritual models, they can still sort of harbour the belief, shall we say, or the perspective that the divine isn't necessarily real. It isn't conscious of all of the details in reality, and therefore of every single thought, fear, need, want, issue, whatever those words are. But the minute we go into that sort of positioning with life, we are already manifesting lack. We are already manifesting exactly that which we really don't want. So when we're talking pure energy work, and really interestingly, this video dovetails into part 1 for this month really well. So if you go back to that, where I'm talking about the fact that, hello, life is flow and there is no need to fear flow. 5 is the place, 5 May. Yeah, the heavy 5 period. 5 is a place where we start to reconnect with the fact that, you know what, flow is real, life will support me, I can do whatever it is I'm sensing I need or want to do right now. So having discovered that, 6 is then the moment where we actually allow ourselves to receive that flow. We allow ourselves the room, we allow life the room, flow the room to actually happen in a way that it is defined as serving every need, all at the same time, without any need being overlooked, dismissed, ignored, or just actually, not even in the radar. Yeah. How we defined the universe and its relationship with us is very important. But also how we define our position with the universe matters. If self believes that the universe needs instructions, then potentially that's how self's reality will appear. I only get something when I ask for it. I only get something when I make it happen. And while I'm using that word get, I'm not necessarily talking about material or physical things, not because there's anything wrong with that. It could just be, the insight, the clarity, the release, whatever. So 6 is the place where we learn to receive again. And through that, therefore, we also learn how giving, doing, making, influencing, striving, wishing, intending, any of those words, any of those actions, that is not actually the place of real receiving, even though receiving can happen there as well. The real place to receive is by releasing all and assigning the universe the intelligence, the willingness, the desire, the ambition that we all attract, that we all receive, and that we all optimize our use, our engagement with, and even our pleasure, our delight in receiving all the universe has to share. So you see how very subtly manifesting at that level can ask self to really get out of the driver's chair, which of course can be a complete backflip to every other stance and role that we play in physical real world life. So this June, don't be surprised if you're taught a little bit more about balance, whether balance is defined as you getting in connection with you, what you really need, what you really feel, what you really think, what you really want to do or have or be, whatever those words are. Don't be surprised if June helps you with that to the next degree. Don't be surprised if this month also helps you to relax, Max. Relax. Let flow happen. That doesn't mean do nothing. It doesn't mean put your feet up for the rest of your life and just, wait for life to serve you. Because, of course, manifesting doesn't happen like that at all. Because on one level, receiving, the first thing we need to do so as to be able to act, fulfill, whatever those words are, the first thing we need to be able to receive is the insight, the idea, the guidance. And so you see how everything starts on the invisible level. If we choose for a moment to receive energetically, it's amazing what can play through in the mental, the emotional, the physical healing state, but also the physical world. So play with those concepts this month. At the end of the day, just relax and let go. Make regular time for that. Make regular time for last month's learnings on waves and flow, allowing the invisible world to be the start of the physical reality, not because the latter is diminished in value, but because really it's only with the right vibes that we actually end up creating the right of anything. Take good care. Move on to part 3 of my monthly observations by way of videos, which is all about how we might be encouraged to learn and step into these dynamics, the 6 dynamics, this June 2025. If you'd rather, go through to the website to either read about June's birth numbers, which I've just run through, or continue reading what I've written about this month in tandem with what I'm speaking with you in video form right now. Take good care, holler if I can help, and all the very best to you. Thanks for tuning in. Bye-bye.